Hey everyone, Willie Miranda with Miranda Real Estate Group, and I'm here with Live with the Leader podcast. And today we have Miss Christine Serafini. Hello, Christine.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been wanting to get you on one of these podcasts for a while. I know we took a break for a couple of months, but you've had a lot of great things going on over the last couple of years. And I know you just hit a huge milestone, career milestone of just crossing that 500 homes sold number. And that's a huge milestone. So congratulations.
Thank you very much. It definitely is empowering. And looking back at the 18 years of business and really understanding where it ramped up and where it was down, I definitely understand what my business was doing at any given year. And the last 5 years has definitely been the best.
Yeah, I mean, the last 5 years, I think knowing you and having you here at Miranda Real Estate Group, you really locked it in. I know we're going to talk about that on a podcast, so I'm not going to take any of that thunder away. But you really focus in. You found your why, and I know it's a building a business that you have in process, right? There's no thing where I'm set, everything's working the way I want it to work. It's always a moving target, and you've done a great job with that. But before we jump into that. Just for some that may or may not know who you are, I just want to hear a little bit of background as to, how you even got into real estate, maybe a little bit about your background before real estate.
Yeah. Well, like I just said, I've been a realtor for 18 years. Prior to real estate, I was actually a bartender. I was an account representative at a hospital facility. And then I was also a program manager assistant at General Electric in Schenectady. Had my two children, and then it was time to buy a house. And you personally were the realtor that I found. And you helped us buy our first home for my family. And in that conversation of buying a home, you asked me the question, have you ever thought of working in real estate or being a realtor? And I honestly, this is the story. I never thought of it, but once you asked the question, I could never stop thinking about it.
I'm so sorry.
I still remember masterminding and it's like, what does a realtor do? What's involved? And I had just got done with the process and I'm like, I can do this. So definitely with your help and inspiration and motivation, I went and got my license with my two little ones and working full time and became a realtor.
I remember that. And I remember out showing properties with your husband, Joe, and just being out there. And we were somewhere in the woods somewhere. I remember.
Yep, Skahari.
Yeah, it was a beautiful view. And we're sitting on that back deck. Remember, it was a huge back deck. I remember this. I can't believe it was 18 years ago.
Yeah.
But why I said that is because, back then even, you knew what you wanted. You were able to identify a lot of the different things in a home, what you wanted, what you didn't want. And just the way you conducted yourself, I said, you'd be a great real estate agent. And I was sincere about that. And here we are 18 years later, and you're in probably the top 1% of agents nationwide as far as production and as far as, all you've been able to accomplish in real estate. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So let's talk about just early on. I mean, thinking back, I know you had a lot of different struggles that you had getting into the business. You weren't exactly full-time. You were doing some part-time, et cetera. And like you just said and alluded to that the last, 5 or 6 years, really where you really focused in and have had your biggest gains. But maybe for those that are just getting into the business right now, maybe can identify with some things that you struggled with early on in this business.
I think early on when I did start, and actually a week from today will be 18 years. It's so funny that it's just so close to that. But early on, I was working full-time at General Electric, knew that I could facilitate some real estate business part-time because I was being told that you could do it part-time, and you can. It wasn't a big why for me to make this a big challenging career. I had my two little ones. They were 3 and 1. From a new agent perspective, I believe I became a new agent again 5 years ago. So I had that 13 years of part-time, full-time, was able to be with my kids. I was a PTO mom. I was the baseball mom, the softball mom. My husband and I were very involved in our kids' activities. And I kept the license, never wanted to let go, did some business here, did some business there. Well, 5 years ago, my daughter's getting ready to go to college. and has decided where she's going and what she's going to do. And that's great. And my big why became more of a financial contribution that I wanted to make. And understanding over the past 13 years, real estate can be anything you want it to be. You can make as little or as much as you want, but you have to put forth the effort. So 5 years ago, I'll say I began to be a new agent again. And I had to get back to the basics, get into a training program with mentors and accountability and say, this is what I want to do. This is the business I want this year. And how am I going to get there? So new agents have a plan, whether it's a dollar amount, whether it's the number of buyers and listings you want, have a plan and then dive deeper into that plan to make yourself accountable to get there.
Yeah, that's great advice. I think a lot of times they get into this business, and I heard it on was actually one of the calls today that, why am I drawing a blank on that? Clubhouse. It was Clubhouse.
Clubhouse.
I haven't been on in a long time because
me neither.
It just sucked your time. But it was, they had some breakfast, welcome to real estate or good morning real estate. You know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
And on there, she said that, as an agent coming into this business, like you have to be well-equipped, well-trained. Like you got to have a good plan or you're going to fail in this business. You can't just wing it. You can't just come in. Maybe I'll go to training. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll, wake up and go to work today. And what she said was that, you want to come in like you have a Ferrari, right? And you have to train to be able to drive and know how to drive a Ferrari if you're going to be doing that. And then you have a Ford or what do they call that? I was going to say Fiesta, but is it a Ford Fiesta?
Ford Fiesta, yes.
Yeah, she was using that. She goes, you see the two different things, like those are really easy to drive versus a Ferrari. Like having a real estate business is that Ferrari, right? We have to make sure that when we come in that we're serious because we're taking, people's lives at stake, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We need to make sure that we're on our game. So you're right. You got to have a plan. And that's definitely something that I think great advice for someone. But let me ask you something. And I know you kind of alluded to it before. What was the turning point? Like, what do you feel the turning point in your career was? And I know you said, obviously now I got to get busy and I have a different why. But what would you say that was your turning point and what made that different for you going into that?
I think I dove deeper into my why and what was really important to me. I also wanted personal success. I think as much as I think about my family and who's around me and who I wanted to support financially, I think I was ready for myself to have that personal success. I was ready to push myself. I was ready to show what do I have inside that I can not only help other people, but help myself achieve the success that I wanted. I went to college. I went 1 year to college. I was I didn't really know what I wanted to do and got, just made bad decisions. I wasn't a bad kid. I just wasn't in college for the right reason. And then I kind of hem and hawed about what was Christine Serafini going to do in her life. Definitely wanted to be a mother and a wife. I was already there, that success. But what professional success did I want? So my why became about providing to my family and achieving the success that I wanted in my life. And then also having my children see me, hopefully, as a role model of what I was doing, that if you work hard, the consequence is it's always a good one. You get that, you get that feel of success. And that feel of success for me empowers me more, not to be more at the top, because if I can do this, I can do that. Yeah. So that's what I'm always, achieving.
Well, you're doing a great job. I had the fortunate opportunity to not meet. I've met your kids many years ago, but spent a little time with them just over the last few months, just a little bit. And you've done an amazing job with them. They're both hard workers. They're both successful in what they're doing. And it definitely shows. So, great job. I mean, it's definitely working, but I know you have a lot more runway for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
What you're trying to do. So let me ask you something. So I know time management and we talk about that and we already know that that's so important to do that. But what's a typical day in a life of Christine Serafini look like? I mean, how do you sell, 80 plus homes? I mean, close to 100 homes that you're going to be, probably shooting for this year. I mean, what's a day in a life look like?
Always showing up to work every day. Okay. You can have personal things happen in your life, but your business is always moving, and having a good support system. But a typical day, getting up, reacting to things that I need to react to right away, whether it's current deals in progress or someone that's waiting for an update from me on a market analysis, always getting those phone calls and emails in right away in the morning. Because your morning all of a sudden goes away so quickly, and then other chain of events happen during the day, you don't get to those priorities. So make sure you get your priorities done in the morning. And that's communicating with current clients and in the now business, whether it's vendors, whether it's banks, attorneys, get that done. Also, if I'm always looking at my pipeline. Okay. I'm always looking at, number one, what buyers are looking on my website and what searches do I have? Who's acting? Is there something right now that I need to react to, get an appointment? Always keeping open lines of communication with my current buyers because of the volatile market we're in for them. I want them to be at that home if it matches their criteria right away. So react to buyers right away. That's a typical day right now. Following up with listing leads and what listings I have in my pipeline and how we're preparing to get those homes ready to go on the market. And then I would honestly say going on appointments, coming back, having to, that's it. The priority things need to get done in the morning, and always being in touch with your current buyers and your pipeline listings. Don't let them forget that don't let them forget you.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was jam packed with a lot of great info, and you're right. I mean, it really just comes down to communicating, having a plan in place where every morning you get up, eat that frog, right? Some of us don't want to go through all what you just mentioned. Sometimes you just want to get to those emails and get to, out in the field. But it's important, right, to have that stuff done, because if you don't have good communication with your clients, so you did all of that work to get them to be clients. And then if you're not going to get that repeat and referral business, right? You're not going to get them to be able to put their name to you because you just dropped the ball throughout the service. So that's a tough thing to do. And I think that you do a great job with that for sure. Let's talk about business now. I mean, you talked about a lot of different things, buyers coming in, you got sellers coming in, and you talked about, what's important. I always said that the four things that we really get paid for as real estate agents is, one, prospecting, right? And making sure we're following up on our leads, going on listings, work with buyers, and then negotiations. But as far as lead flow back to you or your silos of business that you're creating, what would you say, I could say new or experienced agents, but if you had an agent that was out there that was struggling, what should be their focus on? And just keeping maybe to 2 or 3 things that they really should be focused on to continually have business coming in the door.
First of all, identify a list. Identify a list of people that you know, and don't just write them down. Put them in either a spreadsheet or a database that you're using, that you can, when you have something to communicate about real estate or talk about real estate, you can get it to them first. That's your nucleus. Okay. We have to create that top of mind for a new agent. You need to let people know that you are a realtor. You're surrounding yourself with professionals and building your foundation of your business. And that if anyone was thinking of buying or selling, you would appreciate them thinking of you. That's really important. You have to, even 18 years in the business, I want to do that. I always want to be that, I want to be the agent that people call, not just to buy or sell. Ask a question. What is the process? Are there homes for sale right now? Is this the right time for me? How do I sell? So it's about being that professional and that authoritative figure in real estate. So having the database, get involved in the trenches. So whatever brokerage you're with, communicate and work with other agents in the office, reach out to inspectors, reach out to lenders, introduce yourself. You have to always be meeting and introducing yourself to people, because that center of influence is great, but you have to expand it. And you want them to know that you're constantly learning and wanting to be the person that they think of when they think of real estate. So those lenders, the inspectors, the attorneys, very important to be, and your agents around you, work with them and communicate them, work on your dialogues. Dialogues are huge, and surround yourself with that empowerment.
Yeah, and you do a great job with that. I mean, I know you've done a lot of different things where you've done interviews, interviewing actual vendors, lenders, attorneys, those type of people, and helping them grow their business as well. I know you've had mixers where you just had vendors come to mixers, getting them all together. So, these are all little things. Like, people just think that you just, show up and, you're going to sell all kinds of homes. You've planted a lot of seeds, right? You've been that farmer planting all those seeds over the last 4 or 5 years, 6 years, and now it's all come to light. So it does take time to do that, for sure. And I think it's something that, you've done very well. And obviously you're seeing the rewards of that. Let's talk real quick about social media, because I know social media has been important. I know doing video has been very important. I remember, I always kind of bust on you a little bit about your first video that you did, and how serious you were and how dark it was in the room. And, but then after that, it's like, now it's like, you just get on video and you just shoot those things off. But you talked about being top of mind and communicating to your client list and everything else. And, we always say that people want to see evidence of success. And I think you've done that very well with social media and using video. Maybe you just talk a little about that, and what you felt or how important that is, using video and also using social media to stay top of mind.
It's definitely another way you keep top of mind. It's not about how you look, where you are, but what is the message that you want to get through to people in that video? What is it that you want to talk about? Are you at an open house? Do you want to showcase that you're here 1 to 3? Is it 5 things a buyer needs to know when their offer is accepted, what we're going to do? You can do a video, a quick video, but there's always some message that you want to get across and attract to the consumer, to anybody on Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram. But what is my goal? What is the purpose of this? And, that it's a message that not only just for the video and that time that you're seeing it, and it's not about the likes, but it's there for a long time. Unless you delete it, it can always be referred back to. And it's, they say a video is worth 1,000,000 words. It doesn't even, I think something like that I've heard from you. I'm not quite sure, but I know the content of that video is more important than how we look or what we're doing. Sometimes that attracts more, I guess. If it really is like a blooper, you may really get you might get a lot of likes and a lot of shares with that. But consider, what is the message? What's the message that you want to get across? Maybe you just went through a training and you just learned, top 5 new ways to market a home for sale, and you want to share that. Get on video and share that. Let people know that you're learning and you're growing your business to be better for them.
Yeah. And it's so true, like little things like that, little tidbits or little tips, I think are the best. We get a lot of great engagement with that. And people want to be educated. And that's one of the things that, I failed to say earlier, is that you're big on educating the clients. And when this whole thing, and I don't want to bring it up with COVID and all that stuff, because, I don't want to date ourselves. That was years ago.
I know. Right? That was a long time.
I felt like that. But, you jumped right on the wagon and just started getting on video and educating. And people really appreciate it. Your engagements were up, and you were just giving them knowledge and just being, who you were, educating on, is it safe to sell, what they need to do, et cetera. And it gave them a lot of comfort of knowing that, when you go on video and you're bringing that type of knowledge to the table, you're putting yourself out there as the authority in the marketplace, right? As the authority figure for real estate, the expert, right? And also a celebrity, because what they see on social media, they're watching all these influencers out there. They're watching all these now YouTube TV and all these other things that are out there. So they're going to watch you, and they're going to listen, and they're going to learn. And when it comes time to buy or sell, or if they know of someone looking to buy or sell, they're going to pick you. So I think you hit it right on the head. It's really just communication and making sure that you stay in touch with people. Oh, it was 1.8 million words for every minute of video.
Every minute. Yeah. And I think, giving that message, you're feeding a need. You're going to, whatever that message is, there's always going to be somebody looking for that information. So I think we have to consistently, as realtors, feed the need.
No, absolutely. I know you do a great job. We talked about it kind of already with other agents and playing nice in the playground. I think as professionals, into this business, you have a great rapport with a lot of the agents that I talk to at different companies. If I bring your name up to them, I had a great transaction with Christine, or she's doing well or whatever, but they know who you are, and you have that. How important is it that agents play nice in a sandbox? I mean,
it's huge.
Yeah. Maybe shed a little light on that.
Yeah. And especially with the market that we're in right now, we're in a very competitive, we want our buyer's offer to win, right? We need to have such good communication with the agent on the other side. You may have a troubling transaction or something that's really tough that, that agent's working for their client, I'm working for my client, and we might be battling a little bit. But at the end of the day, hopefully this transaction will close, and I'm going to see you on another deal. And you always have to remember that, I want to be able to be respected just as I want to respect everyone else. And it's really important. The easier the agents can work together, the smoother the transaction too. And the buyer or seller don't need to know about that. We just know, we need to have good communication. We both are working for each of our clients, and we have to respect that. The biggest word, I think, is we just have to respect each other as agents. We're both trying to get to the same finish line, to the same table, and let's just work together. It's all about ethics and credibility. Let's just be mindful of that.
Yeah, so true. So true. And I think we have so many agents coming into the marketplace. Actually, I saw an article this morning that said there's actually more agents in the country than there are homes for sale. That's how bad it is. But so many people are getting into the real estate business, and they have been over the last 2 or 3 years because they see it as just being wow, this is just so easy to do. But unfortunately, a lot of them don't come with the ethics or integrity that they should. And it's so important to make sure that we don't get wrapped up in some of those conversations, or we talk about all the time, the emotional intelligence. We have to stay true to what we're doing. And it's so important that you keep those relationships with people in a positive light, because you never know when you're going to be on the other side of a deal and you're going to want the same, respect.
Absolutely.
Right. On a deal. So,
yeah.
All right. A couple more things on here. I had just written a few things. I know technology is so important, and there's some people that are afraid of technology. Education is another big one, but I think it's, you've always said that the same thing is that, you educate yourself a lot. You're out there seeking all these different things and bringing stuff into your business. What can you say about education, how important that is? Because I think some agents don't realize how important being involved in training, going to training classes, mentoring, masterminding, all those different things. What can you say about that?
You have to have that in your calendar. Just because you are licensed doesn't mean that you know all tricks of the trade, or you don't need to be empowered by other people or surround yourself with other people to get maybe one extra nugget of the day or some one-liner that you could really help you maybe close a deal. I think when you first become an agent, you definitely, going back to those top 3 things, you need to decide, are you going to be transactional or are you going to be career agent? And I think you need to know that if you want to be successful, you need to be that career agent. And that career agent is not only going to do the number of deals and have so many buyers and so many listings, but they're going to be training and engaging in training at any time that they can. And they need to understand that whatever brokerage they're with, they need to go to training. They need to engage. They need to ask questions. They need to share stories. That is going to empower them to become that career agent as well.
Yeah, it's so true, right? Green and growing. Got to always be green and growing, no matter how many years. Yeah, there's, some people are going to be listening to this that might have been in the business so far 20, 30 years. You got to still get engaged. You still have to show up to training no matter what. Even if you think you know what the topic is, you're always going to pick something up, right? You're always going to pick something up.
And it's always changing. The real estate transactions and the business is always different. I mean, God, look at the last year that we had. What became more important to talk about was safety.
Right.
We have never raised, we can still sell your home successfully, but we're going to do it safely around the COVID guidelines and to make sure that no one is, we can't guarantee exposure or anything like that, but this is how we're going to do it. And, even social media, agents that were agents 10 years ago, we didn't have, yes, social media was there, but it's not as powerful as it is right now. And what a great tool in your toolbox, that there's still plenty of agents that aren't doing it. And that's fine. It may not be, maybe they're exiting out, or it's just not a pillar that they're interested in exploring. But the new agents, you just have to make sure that that one pillar is there of social media that wasn't there 10 years ago. So real estate is definitely, as a realtor, always evolving, and you definitely need to keep yourself in the know and feed your need for what you need to be successful. I definitely believe that.
Yeah, well said. Well said. All right. Well, that leads me to the last question here, which is, what's next? What's next for Christine Serafini? What do you see the next, 5-10 years here in your career? What are you going to do? What are you looking to do?
And that's, after finishing 2020 this year, 82 closed and 19 pending. I hit that 100 not closed, but that was a goal of this year, of last year, actually. I look, now it's 2021. Okay. New decade. I've been looking and soul searching a lot. I'm not getting younger, but I'm empowered to share. I'm empowered to assist. So I'm still empowered to learn. So we've had a transit. We're going to have maybe a little shift in the market here, and it's making me do business a little bit differently, digging deep for buyers and being a better buyer's agent. But what I see myself just sharing more, right on the little notebook wish list is definitely coaching. The word coaching does come to mind. The word empowering other people to be better realtors, to maybe dive deeper in what they want, or to share experiences that I've had and maybe lessons learned that maybe they won't make the same mistake. We're not going to make everyone perfect. I also have been working on a digital book that just for buyers and sellers. You feel like you do 18 years of business, you've done so many transactions, you have some things to share. I definitely have that in my future. Definitely don't see myself leaving the business anytime soon. I'm really empowered by it still, and still love working with buyers and sellers and meeting new people and empowering them to handle one of the biggest transactions of their life. That's really important to me. So just continuing doing what I'm doing, I guess, and maybe sharing a lot more with other people.
Well, you're definitely a sharer. You're always giving out great nuggets. And I think giving back, Chris, it's, we talk about the law of reciprocity a lot. And I think you're at that point. Sounds like you've been that right along, but even more so now, where you really appreciate how much you've learned from other people in the business, not just within our company or in our brokerage, but throughout the country. Right. And you seek out people that are bringing, new stuff to the table, and you've learned a lot and applied it to your business. And I think over time, it comes to a point where now it's maybe your time to give back, right?
Give back.
Feeling that. And you do get a lot of knowledge from it. And it's not all about the money or anything like that. It's about the way we feel. And we really get empowered by watching other agents take their business, from a very small little seed that I was talking about, and then growing it into this successful business. So, well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. But you want to make a last comment on that?
No. Yeah. And I think that's exactly it. I want to, I guess, water the seeds for people and help them grow their business. I'm really finding out the more I write, the more I try to figure out what is the next 5 years for me. I think I do want to share stories and empower people that they can do it, and they need a plan. They need to be accountable, and they need to surround themselves with like-minded people. And it's proven with me. And I can say it works. So if I can share it and help people out there, I would just love to do that.
All right. Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much for giving back. I know you give a ton of nuggets to our agents internally. You're always there to help them. And, I hear the comments all the time. You're a role model to so many agents, and we're lucky to have you here at Miranda Real Estate Group. So thank you so much for.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. All right. So I hope you enjoy listening to this podcast with Christine, Serafini, and myself. And if you have any questions for Christine directly, just reach out to us, shoot us a quick email. We'd be more than happy to help you. I wanted to say is that we also have a great 24-week free course that we give out called the Blueprint Classroom. And you can go to blueprintclassroom.com. And it's 24 weeks of just great information that we have from lead generation to working with buyers, sellers, lead conversion, right on to the repeat and referral business. Christine's been part of that. Actually, Christine, you're doing one of our classes this week on the buyer presentation. And it's good info. So I hope you guys just go to blueprintclassroom.com. You can register there for free. And with that, thank you so much. And great. As I always say, let's go get them this week.
Thanks, Willie.
Thank you.